I cordially invite you to take a walk with me through the ethnographic village museum in Bucharest. This place, with historical evidence of rural life, inspired me to reflect on the difficult challenges for social work and in general for our society in 2022. Some of these challenges may affect you too, or you may have the power to influence them. That is what I want to talk to you about today. The aim of promoting work-life balance is to enable parents and people with care responsibilities to better combine work and family. It is about not worrying about work when you are home. The home office, as one of the consequences of the pandemic, has removed the boundary between personal living environment and work. We all know that this has changed working conditions permanently. What we don't know, however, is to what extent our virtual office will affect our social interactions in the future and how this challenge can be overcome. The rich were able to increase their wealth during the pandemic. Average income, however, fell over the same period, and the living situation of people affected by poverty deteriorated dramatically. In work, poverty affects 1 in 10 workers in the European Union. In November 2021, several members of the European Parliament tried to block the Fair Minimum Wage Directive, but it was finally passed in December 2021. As a result, this directive opens up the possibility of ensuring an adequate minimum wage. Workers and their families should be able to live in dignity and free from poverty. But this is just the beginning of the journey and requires more negotiation on the necessary national legislation that can actually improve workers' lives. Young people have been severely affected by the social and professional impact of COVID-19 crisis. All data overwhelmingly show that youth unemployment has increased considerably. Work-based learning and apprenticeship opportunities, which can help smooth school-to-work transitions, have been disrupted. Many young people are therefore suffering from financial insecurity, housing instability, and mental distress. Due to the combination of a lack of access to support systems and access to health services, elderly people suffered from increased loneliness during the pandemic. We are experiencing a tremendous shortage of caregivers and the inability of social services to meet the growing need for home care. During the pandemic, we were confronted with the fragility of a transnational care arrangement. We need to talk about the lack of support for caregivers financially affected by the pandemic. In countries that have provided workers, the proportion of older people is increasing and, accordingly, the need for qualified care. Here we face one of the most difficult challenges for our countries. Stress, disruption of social networks and protective measures, increased economic hardship, and decreased access to services for women suffering violence. Health services that address issues such as clinical management of health for victims of rape, first-line support, and basic mental health services for survivors are overwhelmed by the urgent need to counteract the effect of the pandemic. The negative effects of distance learning are clearly focused on girls and schools in impoverished neighborhoods, often with no access to the internet or computers. A return to everyday school life can only succeed if there are programs in place to deal with the deficits that have arisen in the pandemic. A World Bank report released in 2021 shows that the learning loss associated with the school closing is expected to cause these children an income loss equivalent up to $10 trillion in their later lives. Experts are saying that mental health impairment will be the next global pandemic. The pandemic accelerated many already widespread problems: stress, worries, sadness and depressive mood, financial insecurity, unemployment, fear, and panic attacks. At the same time, protective factors such as social connection, employment and education engagement, access to physical exercises, daily routines, access to health services decreased dramatically. This resulted in a significant and unpredictable deterioration in people's mental health. These are the biggest challenges we will face in 2022. During the year, I will continue to publish about each of these social challenges. I also invite you to write in the comment below which of these problems are affecting your personal or professional life, or if there are any other different social challenges in your community.